many nights and perhaps many nights of the week did people spend listening to that very sound on Whammo Radio in Pittsburgh. Welcome to Night Talk, Porky Chedwick. Welcome, Porky.
Pleasure being here. You know what?
What?
My desire is John McIntyre.
Is that right? Well, I wish I could say the same for my girlfriend, but that's a whole nother pitiful show. You have generated so much excitement. People have been coming up to me all day in the halls of Channel 11 and saying, "Are you kidding me? You've actually got Porky on finally." How does it feel just to walk down the street in this town and be the phenomenon that you clearly are?
It's quite a thrill, but what I like initially is the fact that people are happy when they see me, and this is what I like. Bringing happiness to people who might be going through all phases of any kind of anxieties or whatever it might be. I make them happy.
I bet you do. Now, do you actually do many public appearances these days? I mean, or just a few?
Sometimes more than I can handle, but I do enough to make me happy.
Is that right? Yep, so you've slowed down a little bit at any rate.
Not really.
All right. Hey, that's a nice suit. Now, I figured you just bought that within the last few days.
It's a little ancient, but everybody seems to like it.
How old is that? It looks new.
Maybe about 15 years old.
All right. Well, that's about how old my suit is. All right, let me get to, I was reading some of the back of your wonderful album covers, which is a great place to get information about you. And the first thing that caught my eye was that in one of the covers it was detailing the fact that your vision was damaged when you were 10 years old. Tell us about that.
Yeah, if you recall what a slingshot is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I recall what a slingshot is.
Years ago,
I used to torment my sister.
When I was about 8 years old, I was impressed with one of those slingshots.
Yeah.
And I made one up myself and got little pebbles in that, and I'd be shooting at the cans and everything. And
Yeah.
the neighbor, by the way, said, "Porky, I'm going to show you how accurate I could be with your slingshot. Hold the can up." So I held the can up, and
Yeah.
he hit me exactly in my
You
right
are
eye.
kidding me.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that guy?
Well, I really don't know. But
Well, who cares? Yeah.
I
And
probably said a prayer for him.
all right, well, good for you. So, but you had an operation, and you were able to at least see with to a good enough degree to get
right.
by. And later, you had an operation near your brain.
Yeah, I had a large tumor removed from my brain, and I actually want to thank my wonderful, beautiful wife, Jeannie Chedwick.
Did she perform the
Great
surgery?
Well, she was like a doctor. She was
I
on my
bet.
side.
Yeah.
She really helps me in just about everything that I am involved in. And so, thank you, Jeannie.
Hey, yeah, Jeannie, we certainly appreciate you letting Porky out of the house for a night to come on up here. And so, but that must, how old were you when that happened?
8 years old.
Wow, so that was even before the vision thing. I didn't realize that. So that must...
I'm talking, I was 8 years old during the slingshot accident.
Oh, okay. Okay, so tell me about the operation near your brain.
About 5 years ago.
Oh, that recently. So that must have been awfully scary going into the hospital and letting doctors poke around in your head.
Well, I went in with a good attitude.
Did you?
I really did. It helped a lot. And I had a lot of reverence behind me. And I knew I had people praying for me. I knew I had a situation. I had a victory before I went in. I felt that way.
Yeah. Have you had a positive attitude your whole life, or is it something you developed over time?
I really attribute my success to positive attitude and the good Lord.
Here's a general question, I don't know if it's really fair to ask, but do you think just fewer people have positive attitudes today? Does there seem to be just more doom and gloom in the world?
Yeah, I don't think there are enough. They don't have emphasis on positive attitudes today because there's so many things happening that has them going in 1,000 different directions. They're not sure what tomorrow has to offer for them, and that involves a lot of things.
So life is just too busy today for a lot of people.
Right, correct. There's too many things going on.
And you would differentiate that from, I don't know, say 30, 40 years ago.
Right. It was a different situation in my days because I can remember the teenagers in my days, they had like a quarter in their pocket, but today the teenager has a $20 bill in their pocket.
Yeah.
So there is a difference there.
Or a .45 revolver,
the
yeah.
Teenager today, they're separated. They're remote from their parents. Both parents are working, and they're running in different directions, wondering what's happening to them, where they're going. But we won't delve on that too much.
No, we don't have to dwell on that. But is that what happened to the country when everybody had to work instead of one parent staying home?
Correct.
It went downhill after that?
It really did.
Bummer. But if we dwell on that, then we're not being positive, and that's not the Porky way.
That's right.
I want to be the Porky way tonight. This is something else that I read in one of the back of your album covers that I thought was interesting. This is a quote. "For too long and too many years, his sounds," meaning the music that you put on albums and that you featured on your show, "his sounds have been put into the category of music for toughs or rowdy youngsters who won't amount to much. but the majority of Porky's audience are fine young people with a purpose.
Right.
Did your records, did many people think that the fans were mostly young toughs?
What I conceived an idea of playing records which I knew no radio station would be playing in the country, and no one, there wouldn't be an audience for this kind of music. But I was able...
Is that a lot of rhythm and blues hits?
Rhythm and blues. I was able to blow off the dust from a lot of my big 78 records, and I was playing them to myself, and I would say, this belongs to the people out there in Radio Land.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I really started, and I called them Dusty Disc.
We're here with, well, I want to talk about that when we come back and also take some of your phone calls for Porky Chedwick on Night Talk. Stay with us.
This segment of Night Talk is brought to you by Wexford Ford.
Caesar Ringler presents another great summer festival. It's the biggest party of the summer with free admission. The Quintex Cellular Wings Cook-Off and Music Festival. June 20th through the 22nd at the Icy Light Amphitheater at Station Square. Bring your appetite because there'll be plenty of wing vendors competing for prizes. Continuous entertainment on 2 stages, starring 38 Special on Friday, Bachman Turner Overdrive on Saturday, and a tribute to Pink Floyd on Sunday. Admission is absolutely free. The Quintex Cellular Wings Cook-Off and Music Festival. June 20th through the 22nd. Bring the entire family.
Planning that special night on the town? Carriage Limousine, the official limousine of the Pittsburgh Penguins, will get you where you have to go. Travel in style and luxury, whether it's a night out on the town or dining at your favorite restaurant. For occasions large or small, let Carriage Limousine be your designated driver. Call 1-800-642-4546. Carriage Limousine. By land or by air, they get you there.
Sunday nights at 7 on PCNC. Join in on Pirates Extra Innings, a live half-hour call-in show, only on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel. Join host Sam Noer and a special Pirates player guest each week. Call in and talk about the recent games, the rising stars, or what's going on with the Buccos. Pirates Extra Innings airs live Sunday nights at 7 and retelecasts Sunday nights at 11:30 and Monday nights at 7, only on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel.
Change is good. The all-new Wexford Ford has changed with the times, and we have a new way of doing business. Visit the all-new Wexford Ford, Route 19. We've changed for the better.
Maker for the hip shaker. I'm here for a reason, not the season. Now, let's make the mood linger. Let's hear the pulse of passion and share this great moment of love. And we do it with the brilliance of the world-famous flamingos. It's Gershwin's Love Walked In.
Nobody does a record intro like Porky Chedwick, our guest tonight. So you actually invented the oldies format by being one of the first, if not the first major radio personality in the country to play oldies on a regular basis.
It's nationally known, maybe internationally known, that I'm the inventor of the old sound, which is so big across this country of ours, this wonderful country of ours, and also around the world.
Now, why were people so reluctant to play older tunes, do you think? Just
Well,
because it's obvious you should be playing new music? I mean, that just sort of makes sense? Or
They was never exposed or associated with old records. They never knew anything about old records until I actually put them on the radio. And then they said, what's that? I like that, man. Where do you get that? Then they actually get on the phone and call everybody. You got to listen to Porky Chedwick and hear these records he's playing. They were old records which were never, ever played anywhere in the country.
But you don't get any residuals from being the
No,
inventor of the oldies format.
Money was secondary in my life. Love was first.
Is that real? That
Right.
sounds great. Is that true?
That's true.
Wow. So do you think, boy, and I bet if your career had started like today instead of when it did, you'd be a much richer man today, as popular as you
There'd
were.
be big money involved,
Yeah.
In fact, I had large offers to leave the city with very substantial monetary offers, which I turned down because I figured this. money could never surpass the greatness of the Pittsburgh audience.
Did you think about it at all? And where, can you tell us any of the other cities maybe where you had those offers?
Well, I had Los Angeles, New York, and Toledo, and down south a little.
And did you think about them seriously at all?
No, I really didn't.
All right, let's get a couple of phone calls. Randy, go ahead. You're on Night Talk for Porky Chedwick.
Hi, John.
Hey, how you
Hi,
doing?
Porky.
Hi.
Porky, I just want to know if you can remember Willow Beach.
Definitely I remember Willow Beach. Some of the wildest cats would be there having a lot of fun.
Right. I met you there 38 years ago.
How about that?
You still look good.
It was one of the great memorable dances of my career. Willow Beach. Out around Cannonsburg area,
Yeah,
Houston.
right next door.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Randy, thanks so much for your call. What was memorable about Willow Beach?
Well, initially I'd pull people from different areas, different communities, and actually no one knew each other.
Yeah.
And so that was a little time bomb there, right?
Yeah.
So I always had it under control.
But I mean, you pulled an interesting bunch of people over to Willow Beach?
From
Or?
different communities.
Well, what gave you the idea to do that instead of just getting them from one area?
Well, when I would go, I actually said, Daddy-O's going to have a great dance tonight, and I want you to come on out and meet a lot of new friends. We're going to have the right sounds for you. We're going to have a lot of fun. And as a result, I had so many legions listening to me, they said, not a bad idea. Let's go find out where Porky's at, and we'll go there. And, of course, that was different communities all around maybe the tri-state area. And actually, like I said before, no one knew each other, but they got acquainted very quickly.
That's great. Get a call from Joe. Go ahead, Joe. You're on Night Talk.
Hey, I'd just like to say, Porky, you're really great. And I have a question. I was wondering if any, where I was preferably on the internet or anything, if you have any memorabilia sites or anywhere where we can purchase albums of yours or anything like that. And I was also wondering, while you're on Night Talk, if you could do one radio slang for us here in Pittsburgh.
I'll tell you what, any event you're desirous of obtaining records or augmenting your already great record collection, well, there are numerous record stores probably near your area, and I suggest you visit one of them.
Joe, thanks for your call. But do you know this internet thing where you type on computers and some people sell stuff over it? You don't have a website, as they call it, on that, do you?
No, I understand that a lot of people said they saw my name on there.
Oh, no kidding.
At my home, my wife Jeannie and Ben, they're quite accurate at
they're active on that thing, are they?
Computer. And Ray Badger, he's a cool one with the computer.
All right, well, you know...
And the Subbits, all the Subbits from Baldwin, they're into the computer stuff, too.
Well, probably before too long, you will have your own website, and you'll be selling stuff on there as well as in the record stores. But things that you've got a new CD out, which we can hold up.
Yeah,
later
it's quite a fantastic one. It's a good seller. It's very unique because what I do on that, I play the records that I started on my radio show.
Right.
And then I have my old-time commercials on there, and also my glossary, which is Porkology. It's all compiled there on one CD.
Really,
pretty unique. It's a little different.
You know, it's funny listening to old commercials how much it really brings you back to the time when they were played.
I had them in my days.
Did you? Yeah. Did you a lot of live commercials?
But I liked that I ad-libbed most of my commercials.
Yeah.
They'd give me the name of the company, and then they would also tell me the location, and then I would put the meat to the body.
Did you get? Did you ever get in any trouble ad-libbing any of those commercials?
No, I knew how to handle it.
Oh, you didn't kid around with the sponsors?
I was pretty astute there.
Yeah, I bet you were. All right, let me get a call. Well, first of all, let me hold up this new CD. By golly, George the cameraman zooming in at record time, cruising. Wow, and a little cartoon on there. This is a cool little... who designed this cover, do you know? Just the record company?
That was done out of California.
Oh, they did a good job.
Yeah, right.
Let's get a call from George. You're on Night Talk for Porky Chedwick.
Pork the Torque.
How are you?
All right, Pork. Boy, you sure have changed in your dress code.
All right.
You've gone too conservative.
Too conservative, huh?
Hey, Pork.
Yeah.
I got a question for you about a group that you really pushed back in the, I guess mid-50s. They made one record that I remember, and that was "Why Should I Love You." I remember one week you played
the harp tones
record and did requests.
Yeah, it was the harp tones. Willie Winfield sang it, "Why Should I Love You."
Right. Do you remember playing it for the whole week and doing nothing but reading requests that week?
Right. I used to have, I used to get about 500 letters a day in cards. The cards were like 3-cent postage, I do believe, and I guess maybe 9 cents for the letters. I used to get about 500 letters a day, and then I would read maybe 10 minutes of requests, and then I would play the record.
That is great, and it's amazing how many people remember weeks of their lives depending on what you were doing on the radio at that time. The one caller called in before and said, can you do some radio slang? Did they mean the patter, maybe?
Yeah, what they meant was my porkology, my phraseology.
Right.
They called it slang. They called it grooveology.
Yeah, can you do some of that for us? Or would
yeah, I could say, this is your daddy-o of the radio, your platter-pushing papa, Pork the Torque. No, my name's not John Wayne, it's Porky the Insane. This is not Sergeant York, it's Pork the Torque, the sound hound with the ground round. I got more moves than Allied bands, more lines than Bell Telephone. And I went on and on like that. And it was pretty unique and different. And people look forward to hearing all that. Plus the fact that they were hearing unknown records, which were sensational, beautiful doo-wop singing ballads and great honking saxophone numbers. The music was great, but they had no knowledge of where it come from and what it was all about until I exposed it to them. And I instantaneously picked up an audience, because when I went on the radio my first day and I said, this is the daddy-o of the radio, the phones lit up. They said, Porky, we love you. You're giving us something we don't have no knowledge about, but we like it, but you're mispronouncing radio.
And we will be back with the daddy-o of the radio on Night Talk in a moment and more of your phone calls. Stay with us.
This segment of Night Talk is brought to you by Carriage Limousine Services, part of the Gasper Transportation Group.
Spring is here and it's time to break out the bunnies. The Crafters Gallery has Pittsburgh's largest bunny selection, wood, ceramic, sewn, or stuffed, in our ever-changing collection of the tri-state area's finest handmade gifts. Furniture, clothing, stained glass, country Victorian, serious or silly. If it's made by hand, it's in a nook or cranny at the Crafters Gallery. Open daily in the North Hills, Monroeville, or our newest indoor crafts fair in the Hillcrest Shopping Center in Bethel Park. Get ready for spring with Pittsburgh's best, the Crafters Gallery.
Homeowners, imagine bringing more beautiful and natural light into your home. SolarTube, the Miracle Skylight, will add natural light to a living room, bathroom, or kitchen, and standard installation is less than $400. SolarTube, distributed by New Wave Solar Lighting, installs to any roof surface with a leak-proof design and without costly construction. SolarTube channels light down through its patented Spectralite tubing through a glowing diffuser and into your home. For additional information, call New Wave Solar Lighting at 429-5108 or visit our showroom at 1006 Washington Avenue, Carnegie.
Mystic Music presents Cool Rock. The songs are hot, but the rock is cool. Cool Rock contains 35 chart toppers for only $19.95 for cassettes or $24.95 for CDs. Here's how to order.
Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-541-2100 or send $19.95 for 2 cassettes or $24.95 for 2 CDs, plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Cool Rock, P.O. Box 1111-PCNC, Monument, Colorado.
Bruno talks to your car. If you want to hear your motor purr just like a kitten, then let Bruno's Sunoco station do it for you. At Bruno's, they do all kinds of motor work, repairing, body work.
The daddy of the radio, Porky Chedwick, is our guest tonight on Night Talk. We got some calls holding. So you were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame not long ago.
Yeah, that was October the 19th. We had a great group of people, went up about 4 or 5 busloads.
So that is
they paid like $57 a person to be in that bus, and we had about 4 busloads. That was wonderful. And that was sponsored by 3WS.
But that had to be huge. I mean, I imagine there are not very many radio personalities in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The fire marshal was interested in what I was doing because he had a problem sorting out all these people.
Oh, is that right?
Groups. It was jammed in there.
What now? So you've met undoubtedly incredible, famous people and big stars over your time.
Oh yeah, I've met them all. I probably can't enumerate as to who they are, but I met a lot of groups like Bo Diddley, and
Right.
the Spaniels and the Dubs and the Flamingos. You can go on and on and on, because I was instrumental in playing their records first in America. And as a result, I'd get a telegram from the record manufacturer.
Uh-huh.
I'd get a phone call from the artist, so artists would come in free to see me. I just started, I got them all into motion, got them exposed to the audiences.
Wow. Let's get a call from Ed. You're on Night Talk for Porky Chedwick.
Oh, yeah, good evening to you and Porky. I grew up in the 40s, and in the Second World War, KQV had a disc jockey named Al Nobles, and he had something called the KQV Jukebox. And then later on in the late 40s, Mary D., who was a black disc jockey, was playing the rhythm and blues records.
She was with us.
Well, no, she was before you. And she was playing the rhythm and blues records in the Hill
No,
District.
she started out with me.
And she records
I'll
like
take your side, Porky.
the Clovers. And anyhow, Porky.
Yeah.
Later on, you did come on a little later after she did. And I wonder, what was your influence? You know, in other words, who were you listening to come up with this black music?
I wasn't listening to anybody in Pittsburgh because they weren't playing the records. I was tuning the long distance stations down south, and I was listening to gospel music, and that got me excited. The cymbals, the hand clapping, and the shouting and everything, and the lyrics, and that got me interested in music, and that's how I really started my career.
So what are some of the more thrilling moments in your career, moments you won't ever forget?
Oh my, I have quite a few. The Stanley Theater was a big one, which is now the Benedum.
Yeah.
I did a remote broadcast from under the marquee of the Stanley Theater. I broadcast in person from the sidewalk, and we were anticipating a few people to say, "Porky, how you doing?" walking by, ready to go into the movie. But as a result of me being there, a half hour before the show, we had about 2,000 people on the street.
Really?
An hour into the program, I had at least 8,000 to 10,000 people on the street. They forgot all about the theater, about going to the show. They wanted to see their daddy-o of the radio.
And so they just kind of roped that block off and
They
let
blocked
you
the
take
whole
over.
street off with about 10,000 people.
Wow.
And then the big thing was, every artery, every street coming into Pittsburgh was bumper to bumper with my teenagers who were actually listening to me on the radio. And they were trying to get into the city, but they were really turned away instantaneously, immediately by the police, because they couldn't handle the crowd.
Well,
that's one. Then the
you're
thing,
a victim of your own popularity.
and I had such a dedicated audience. No matter what I said, they believed in, but I always told the truth, and I was very sincere. I attribute one of my greatest characteristics is the word sincerity. I was very sincere. And what I would tell them now, wherever you may be as you're listening to this particular record, I want you to, if you're home, I want you to dance. If you're driving your car, I want you to get out of your car and dance, not realizing they were on a turnpike, they were on the parkway, they were everywhere with the car stopped, with the doors open in the middle of the streets doing dancing. And then I'd always say, man, my records are burning, they're cool, they're hot. And finally I got an idea, I'm going to do something tricky. What I did, I said, boy, this record's on fire. And then I didn't say a word, I had dead air. And all of a sudden I could hear a fire truck coming into the station because the firemen were listening to me. They thought actually that the studio was on fire. I had many things like that. And
the firemen weren't too bright in those days, or how do you?
Everything came, it came immediately to my mind. It was so wonderful. I didn't have to create anything. It was, while a record was on, I had something that I could say.
What about, you know, we all heard a lot about the big payola scandals of way back
Yeah, that
when.
was a very big thing.
When people used to pay disc jockeys to
That
play
was
records.
big in my mind, and I'm happy you brought that up.
Yeah,
I didn't
go
think you would. Payola was a big thing in our days. The big jocks, I was never called the big jock at the big station. I was at a 250 water in the suburbs in Homestead, and the big jocks downtown, they would not play a record unless they got maybe a TV or a big check or things like that.
Anybody ever offer
But that
you
was
anything?
all over the United States.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, definitely. I could recall I got phone calls, telegrams, Porky, if you need $500, if you need a television, or maybe you need a payment on your car, play my record for a couple weeks.
Never took it, though.
And then, usually when that was happening, I was probably making $15 a week. So the money sounded
it had to be tempting.
exciting, real tempting.
Yeah.
But I turned it away so quick because I had,
But
I had
everybody
a lot
was
of
doing
reverence
it back then.
embedded in my cranium.
Yeah?
I knew it was the wrong thing to do.
But you must have known people. I don't mean it. I'm not going to ask you to name them, but you
No,
must
I
have
really
known
knew
a few.
them,
Who,
yeah, I knew them,
yeah.
Most of them got expelled from radio. Some of them went to jail for a little bit. It was a big thing.
So you did the
it
right
was
thing
more or
along the way,
less
yeah.
that they wouldn't declare with the IRS.
Right. Oh, yeah. So if Uncle
Yeah.
Sam could have gotten his tax money, he
Right.
might have let him escape.
Correct.
But yeah. All right, let's get a call from Ann. You're on Night Talk for Porky Chedwick.
Yes, hi, Porky.
How are you?
I've been a big fan of yours.
Nice hearing from you.
I've been a big fan of yours for years.
Thank you.
And I like to say that I always thought you had the greatest voice of any disc jockey I've ever heard. And it was true what you said. You came across very sincere when us kids, when us people were teenagers, and we all believed in you and everything. And I'd like to ask you, where were you originally from? And I listen to Caveman Ralph every Saturday.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Homestead. I think a big thing that I did for you teenagers was I had the teen commandments of love. Actually, I don't know what they are, but it was how to respect your neighbors and just be an all-around good person. And I used to read them periodically on the show. Go ahead, Ann.
Ann has left us, and we're going to leave you for just a moment, but we've got more of your Daddy-O on the radio. Straight ahead on Night Talk. Don't go anywhere.
If you own a dog or cat, you know how important it is to you. But if your pet were injured, would you know what to do? The best thing you can do is to be prepared by having a pet first aid kit on hand. This kit contains a complete supply of first aid items selected by a veterinarian to treat the most common pet emergencies. You'll also get this important booklet, which contains instructions and tips every pet owner should know, like how to properly carry a pet to avoid further injury, how to make an emergency muzzle, and potentially life-saving instructions for the critical moments before you get to the vet. You'll also receive a $2 coupon for Nutromax Premium dog or cat food, available at pet stores everywhere. And for each pet first aid kit sold, a donation will be made to the Animal Protective Association. So protect your pet. Order your pet first aid kit today.
The Pet First Aid Kit is not available in stores. To order yours, call 1-800-257-6700 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $4.85 shipping to the address on your screen. Or call 1-800-257-6700.
This is an NAACP tribute.
For over 80 years, the Pittsburgh branch of the NAACP has helped African Americans gain equal rights.
You will, at some point in your life, run into the wall of racism. So don't try to run away from it. Understand that this will happen. And when it happens, remember who you are and stand up to it.
Celebrate the NAACP's accomplishments here in Pittsburgh, July 11th through the 17th at the National Convention.
Sunday nights at 7 on PCNC. Join in on Pirates Extra Innings, a live half-hour call-in show, only on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel. Join host Sam Noer and a special Pirates player guest each week. Call in and talk about the recent games, the rising stars, or what's going on with the Buccos. Pirates Extra Innings airs live Sunday nights at 7 and retelecasts Sunday nights at 11:30 and Monday nights at 7, only on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel.
In your move and shake your feet to the Porky beat. Buster Brown, he pays tribute to Fannie Mae with this enormous high-quality hit. Let's get porkified, baby.
Porky Chedwick is our guest tonight. Let's get a call from Carl. You're on Night Talk. Go ahead.
Hello, Porky.
How are you, Carl?
First of all, thank you very much for all the work you ever did for the youth.
Thank you.
I love this. You did so much for children for so long. Nobody has tributed you to this great deal you ever did. Now, second of all, what is your favorite Porky sound?
Your favorite Porky sound?
Well, you know what? If I picked one out, I think I'd be unfair to all the groups. I really loved all of my music, but there's a lot of records that mean a lot to me, like Have I Sinned, or, you know, there's quite a few. But I can't pick out one single record, Bald Head or Lima Beans. There's so many, and the groups were so beautiful, And I'd just like to say they were all spectacular records, and I enjoyed them all.
Is there one artist who is more grateful to you than others for helping to launch their career?
Not really, no. Everybody seems to be equally responsive like it. Porky, you helped us. God bless you. You're our man, and thank you for what you did, because maybe without you, we may not even be in our car or whichever. It wasn't a Cadillac then.
Do you ever listen to any, or do you listen to much modern music at all?
Not much, not really, no. I listen to all the oldie jocks, and on TV I watch professional wrestling.
Do you? Do you seriously?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like to get some laughter once in a while.
All right. Let's get a call from Bob. You're on Night Talk for Porky Chedwick.
Porky Chedwick, the legend.
Thank you.
This is Bob Harvey here. Haven't seen you in a while, Pork, and you look great.
Thany you very much. Thank you for the compliment.
I used to work with KQV when they played music. And
I remember your name.
I remember you. How have you been?
Actually, very good. Feel real good internally, and I guess I feel good externally. I don't know.
Well, what I want you to do is talk about the old days when we played radio and we had 45s. These kids don't know what 45s are anymore.
No, you're talking about 78s.
Well, you look at that cameraman, that George Parfit. I'll bet you a nickel he doesn't even have an idea what a 45 is.
George says that he does, by the way, just for the record.
Well, Porky, I want you to say, I haven't seen you in a while since you were up in Mount Washington.
Yeah, right.
Well, listen, it was good seeing you, and you look better than ever.
Okay, thank you kindly.
Bless you, Pork.
Hey, you know, it was trouble, though, I guess, though, and really disc jockeys were playing records, though, not 78s, up through, late 70s, early 80s, I think, before most everybody got automated or went to carts or CDs.
Yeah, right.
But taking care of the records, did you have to do much of any of that and replace them when they skipped?
The records were made so solid and so perfect that they had endurance. They could go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
I play records today for like 40, 50 years that I played them years ago, and they're still in good shape.
So when you listen to music at home, are you just listening to the oldies mostly?
Yeah, I always listen to the oldies, yeah.
But so do you have a CD player yourself, I'm just wondering?
Oh, yeah, we have one, yeah.
Oh, all right, but you're still spinning mostly records, I would guess, yeah. There's a guy calling himself, a frequent Night Talk caller, the Limo Man for Porky Chedwick. Go ahead, Limo Man.
Porky Chedwick, the daddy-o of the radio.
All right, where did you take me in your limo?
Homestead High-Level Bridge.
Right.
Am I right?
Right. Right at the end of the high-level bridge is where we had our studios in 1948, and it was called WHOD.
I remember that.
How about that?
I remember that. And I talked about you with Ray Anthony in California the other day. He's coming to town in the fall.
How about that? Beautiful.
Yeah, there's going to be a Hall of Fame some kind in the summer. Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't heard about that.
With the 4 lads, the 4 freshmen, the 4 coins, the Vogues.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that, no.
And your buddy, Sir Walter, was sitting next to John McIntyre not too long ago.
Yeah,
and
right.
Johnny Angel
He's
was
cool.
John's he's got the elite of gifts of gab.
All right.
All right. You take care of yourself, Porky.
Thank you.
All right.
As usual, a long rambling monologue, but no question from the Limo Man. Thanks so much for your call, Limo Man. So you used to broadcast from the tops of drive-in theaters.
Yeah, I used to perch myself on the roof of the concession stands and do my entire program, and when I went off the air like at 8:45 or 9 o'clock at night, it was getting a little dark, then they watched movies for about 2 or 3 hours.
Did you get a lot of free movies that way?
Yeah, I did a lot of those. All the movie houses, I did that.
And you did, what would you suppose, hundreds of sock hops?
You know
and
what?
Dances.
We haven't talked about teenage dances.
No.
In my days, I was, I guess, the king of teenage dances.
I'm sure.
If a high school had a money maker, where they're trying to make money, they'd always book me to play their high school dance. And they were called record hops. And I must have played 6,000 of them out of my 10,000 dances.
Did you enjoy them, or did you get sick of them?
No, I never get sick of what I enjoy.
That is great. And over the years, did you notice any changes in the kids, or did you just attract a good crowd and they treated you with respect because you were the
well, like basically, like I said before, teenagers are teenagers, and a lot of them are different centuries, are exposed to different things. Today, like in the early 50s, they were just happy people that loved music and loved their friends and loved going to school. And they didn't have money at all. They didn't have hardly a cent. But now they're probably riding around in Cadillacs. But today, the kids are exposed to everything. No matter what they want is there. If it's bad, good, risque, or it's there, and it's very tempting.
Sometimes
and
even
it's not a good thing.
Before they're teenagers, they're exposed.
Yeah,
But I'm still interested in this thing, and we talked about it before on the back of your record cover, where it said that, were you actually criticized because your music was said to appeal to young toughs?
Well, let me say this. My records didn't go astray.
Yeah.
And I didn't go astray, and the kids didn't go astray.
No, in the long run, right, yeah.
But it was criticized a little bit. Yeah.
And I don't...
Anything new usually
just in the
gets
same sense
initial
that rock,
criticism.
in the same sense that rock and roll was controversial in the early days.
Before it's acceptable, it's criticized.
I mean, did you find yourself defending Elvis Presley, defending other rock stars?
I knew what he was doing, and I knew he was right in what he was doing.
Yeah.
I could foresee the future real good.
All right, we've got one more segment with Porky Chedwick, the daddy-o of the radio, and a couple more of your phone calls straight ahead on Night Talk.
My wife thinks I'm perfect because I make sure all the bills are paid on time. But last month I fell behind, even missed a few payments. My bank wouldn't help me out. So I called Personal Mortgage for a home equity loan. They showed me how to put cash back in my pocket every month by turning my bills into one lower monthly payment.
Even if your credit rating isn't perfect, call Personal Mortgage now. 1-800-CASH-123.
Hey, nobody's perfect. But don't tell my wife that.
May I help you, sir? I guess I'll take a Ranger.
One number 2.
But with more power like the Chevy S10.
That's extra, sir.
And more room like S10, but for S10's price.
Sure, if you want all that, you want a Chevy S10.
S10 it is.
One number 1 coming up.
Got an appetite for the rugged Chevy S10? Get one and save $1,000.
Next, please. Make mine a 3-door.
Chevy S10, a super value at your local Chevrolet dealer.
When it comes to quality and flavor, you want to make sure you are getting the best for you and your family. That's why you want to look for the Sunfresh label. For 20 years, family-run Sunfresh Food Service has provided the finest tomatoes for the Pittsburgh area. The vine-ripe tomatoes are grown in such areas as Florida, Mexico, and California. So you know when you see the Sunfresh label, you are getting their seal of approval. Have you had a little flavor lately? Look for the Sunfresh label at your local food stores.
For over 40 years, Scally's has been the premier golf facility in our area, but we're also entertainment for the entire family. Try the batting cages or check out the custom club fitting. Play the championship par 3 9-hole course or enjoy the natural wonders of our miniature golf. Practice your drive at over 100 teams or let the whole gang try pitch and putt. Group lessons and private lessons are also available at Scally's in Moon Township. Call 264-9940.
Everything is obla-dee and obla-zay. Baby, we're going to get it on here at Spinner Sanctum. Your sound hound, Porky Chedwick, loves these all-American songs. Songs of memory forever. This is my gift to you.
Back on Night Talk with your daddy of the radio, Porky Chedwick. Johnny Angel, who you probably know if you've been in Pittsburgh for any length of time, who's with Porky tonight. We're going to have him on again another night. We had him on before. Was just telling us the story of how you used to play the B-sides of records. In other words, they'd have a hit on the A-side. The B-sides a lot of times didn't get any airplay. But if you liked them,
the country ever did that.
But you made them so popular, they were hits, and they had to release them again a second time as a hit.
That's exactly the way it happened.
That is something. So you were pretty powerful.
When a record company would send me a record exclusively, I would listen to both sides, and I said, I'm going to play with a record which I think my audience will like, and that's what I did. And many times, the B-side was a stronger record with me, and actually, it became the #1 selling record, the B-side.
Did any record executives ever complain to you? Look, we were...
Oh, yeah, they didn't like the idea, but they had to accept it, because I was helping their artists.
We've got a surprise for you. Your wife, Jeannie's on the line.
Oh,
Go
beautiful.
ahead,
How about that?
Hi, Craig.
How are you, honey?
You look wonderful.
Thank you.
You really look wonderful.
Okay.
Did you tell them about Pork and Sock, our wonderful clubs that keep up the
2
oldies?
wonderful clubs. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
They heard you say it's Pork Club, named after Porky,
Pittsburgh
and
Oldie Record
Dave
Club.
Rammer's Sock.
Yeah, they bring in all the oldies groups.
And they bring all the oldies groups in like once a month at particular places.
You look wonderful.
Thank you.
You really look
All
wonderful.
right.
Yeah. Tell them about Smokey.
Smokey Robinson?
Yeah.
I can recall. He really loves Porky, Smokey Robinson. I can recall he came into Pittsburgh and he got out of the limo and he started walking up and all the photographers and all the writers merged on him and he spotted something. He moved them all aside and said, I got to see my man first, the daddy of the radio. That was beautiful.
That is huge, yes.
That's the way they relate to me, all the acts.
How about, who's Dave Raymer?
He has a record store in McKeesport.
Well, he's on the air with us right now. Dave, go ahead.
He's on our board of directors for our big thing that we're concealing right now.
Oh, yeah?
50th anniversary.
Dave, we can't talk about that?
Yes, we can. I'd just like to say to this wonderful man, he's been an incredible influence on me and my family, and if it wasn't for this gentleman, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have the record store I have, and I was never, I've been on the radio before, and I dedicate all that to this gentleman right here.
Thank you, Dave.
He's an incredible man. I dearly love him.
Dave, how did he help you get
started? Everybody out there loves him as much as I do.
How did he help you get started?
Well, he influenced me. I was 13 years old when I first heard him on the radio, and I really liked the music. And I was into girls then, and then I got into music. I started collecting records, and this man influenced me. I used to listen to him. And
did you stop being into girls, or?
Well, I'm married now, but I really put records first at that point in my life. So he's been an incredible influence. We dearly love him. And to Jack Hunt there, an incredible gentleman.
Johnny Angel,
also a very fine man. And we're here to keep the music alive.
We could send one out to Henry DeLuca, another great guy.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's big in the entertainment world. How we doing here?
We're doing
Cool John, Dapper One.
We're doing really, I don't know, see, I'm afraid I can't match you lingo for lingo, so I'm not even going to try. But I know these phone callers are going to be mad at me if I don't try to get at least a couple more in.
Okay, let's do it.
Amanda, you're on Night Talk for Porky Chedwick.
Hi, I'd just like to say I think you're really, really great, and I have all your records. You know, when I have kids, I'm going to pass it on to them.
You're very kind. Go ahead.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you, honey.
Amanda, thanks so much for your call. Al, you're on Night Talk for Porky Chedwick. Al, you there? Yo, Al. We're going to try Drew. Drew, you've got the phone lines open on Night Talk. Hey, Drew. Get off of my cloud. Drew? How the hell with him? Porky, what does the future hold for you?
The future, everything, so many beautiful things came to me in my life. I come out of extreme poverty, one of 10 children. There must be about 37 nieces and nephews and everybody. I come from a great family, extreme poverty, and the good Lord took me. I must have had somebody up there watching me, taking care of me, and I was able to do big things. But a lot of great things has been happening recently. After 50 years, you figure it's time to forget Porky.
When is
but
it?
Maybe a book.
No kidding.
And then after a book, maybe the final thing will be a movie.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Yeah, it'll be probably not better than the Howard Stern movie.
Right. It'll be a different...
a different kind of movie, certainly,
kind of continuity.
And what about this big 50th anniversary? Are there some huge celebrations
Well,
in the works?
It's in its infancy right now, but from what I hear from the executive committee which putting it on, it's going to be one of the biggest things that ever hit the city of Pittsburgh or the tri-state area.
All right, about 1 minute left. Quickly, Lois, you're on Night Talk for Porky. Lois?
Hi there, boss man.
Hello, cool one.
Hey, listen, do you remember that big party we had for you at the Syria Mosque? And all those
how could I forget the Syria Mosque? I played the first dance at the Syria Mosque, and I played the last dance in the Syria Mosque, a period of about 40 years. I certainly remembered that. Really, I remember that.
Well, it was honoring you that day, remember?
Yeah.
And all those groups showed up. And
they all showed up.
Yes. Stay well, boss man.
Thank you, dear.
All right, I think 30 seconds left. Should we try to squeeze in a call, Jonesy? Marcia, go ahead real quick.
Hi, Porky.
Hi, Marcia.
How are you?
Real groovy.
My father-in-law used to talk about you all the time, and you know him, J.D. DeFazio.
Very well.
Oh, sure. They try to get in a plug for a sheriff's candidate right before the election. People are sneaky, Porky. Listen, thanks so much for coming on the program.
You want me to end how I end my program?
How do you end your program?
This is Porky Chedwick, your daddy-o of the radio, your platter-pushing papa. It's later for the Porky later. Right now, my man, I'm gone.
He's gone, but his CD lives on. It's Cruisin' with Porky Chedwick, available at fine record stores everywhere. Thanks so much for coming to the program. We'll be back in a moment with a commentary.
The official transportation provider for Night Talk is Carriage Limousine Services, part of the Gasper Transportation Group.
For over 40 years, Scally's has been the premier golf facility in our area, but we're also entertainment for the entire family. Try the bat-in cages or check out the custom club fitting. Play the championship par 3 9-hole course or enjoy the natural wonders of our miniature golf. Practice your drive at over 100 teams or let the whole gang try pitch and putt. Group lessons and private lessons are also available at Scally's in Moon Township. Call 264-9940.
There's only one fishing lure proven to catch all these fish and virtually every species of game fish in North America. It's the Banjo Minnow, the world's first and only genetic response fishing lure.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Dance. Well, I'm here to tell you the Banjo Minnow is truly the most exciting thing I've seen in a mighty long time.
The Banjo Minnow will outfish every fishing lure in existence today.
We had made a fishing lure that actually made fish bite, even if they weren't hungry.
And it works.
It's amazing, totally amazing.
I've not missed a fish on the Banjo Minnow.
Just is amazing. It's just unbelievable.
Have your credit card ready and call now to order the complete 110-piece Banjo fishing system. You get 24 Banjo Minnows in 3 different sizes and 4 colors. Banjo weedless bait hooks, counterbalanced jigs, and much, much more. All yours for only $29.95. For faster service, have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen right now.
This bait is phenomenal.
Change is good. The all-new Wexford Ford has changed with the times, and we have a new way of doing business. Visit the all-new Wexford Ford, Route 19. We've changed for the better.
Well, he's not quite the daddy-o of the radio, but he is the veteran anchor man. He's Chris Long, and he's got a preview of the 10 o'clock news for us.
And I'm just honored to follow Porky. Thank you, John, very much. Coming up on the 10 o'clock news, we have weather problems throughout western Pennsylvania tonight. Trees down in some areas, power out for a lot of people. We'll tell you all about that with Dennis Bowman coming up at 10. Also, of course, tomorrow is primary election day. The polls open at 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll take a look at what's expected tomorrow, plus other news, sports, and weather when you join us in a few moments after these riveting thoughts from Mr. McIntyre.
Rivet, rivet.
Thanks, Chris. Tonight's commentary. I don't blame you for being cynical about politics. Mayoral candidate Chasten Roston summed it up well when he wrote, "I am fed up." He wrote this in his campaign brochure. "I am fed up with these local politicians coming around only at election time to lie to us about what they will do for the people of Pittsburgh." He wasn't just tarring everyone with a broad brush, he was tarring and feathering them. And maybe that's unfair, but the sad truth is, it's probably how many of you feel. It does seem like politicians show up only at election time, doesn't it? Or is it just that that's the only time we're paying much attention? It does seem like they're always lying to us, but do we really pay attention to them often enough to know whether they're lying? My point is that we are arguably just as guilty of questionable behavior as the politicians are when it comes to doing our jobs as citizens. Imagine if we had to run for American citizenship every couple of years or they'd take it away from us. What would your campaign speech be like? Would you say, "Yes, I keep up on things, I find out where the candidates stand, I make sure to vote"? Or would your speech be more like, "I never listen to those worthless bums. In fact, I haven't heard them in years. In fact, I don't even vote, because if you throw the bums out, you just elect new bums"? Of course, there's no bum like an old bum, is there? Be that as it may, I'm suggesting that it's time for us to start voting again. Now, there's a radical notion. Why? Because while there are some hardworking, dedicated public servants who run for office, there are more than just a few dangerous scallywags out there as well.